Welcome to the Weekly Pull. As usual, I'm Benny the Comic Historian. That is Rob, phasing out of reality, Comics Explained. That is Faust, his hair is better than mine regardless of how much stuff I try. From It's Super Effective. That is Joel, one part of the 40-man team that is Comic Book Cast, and that is Comic Book Uno. I don't know her well enough to make a joke.
That's true.
So everyone's channels are usual, guys. Comics Explained, It's Super Effective, Comic Book Cast 2, and Comic Uno. You can easily look those channels up. I'll be posting them periodically throughout the chat here. Thank you guys for joining us today for the Weekly Pull, where it will now be hosted every Tuesday, and then eventually the YouTube video will go up on Rob's channel. If you want to get live action chat, make sure you come to twitch.tv/EligibleMonster every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern. All right, guys, today we're going to talk about the Free Comic Book Day books, Secret Wars, Convergence, Divergence, the Flash ending, it's basically everything. For those of you guys who want to know our opinions on the Avengers, we will be doing another podcast at the same time tomorrow discussing it. But it will have a crap ton of spoilers. That is your warning. It will be spoiler-filled tomorrow.
Okay, so what do we want to talk about first? We want to jump into Divergence? We want to do Secret Wars? What are you thinking?
Should we do, the shortest topic first and just start with Suicide Squad costumes?
That's true.
You just like talking about costumes.
I mean, yeah, you're all about costumes. It's like Faust got in there. Like Benny was like, "What are we gonna do for the topic?" So Faust was like, "Suicide Squad costumes." I was like, "You and your costumes."
Yeah, I wanted to say because I was a Squad fan, but Faust just beat me to it. I'm like, oh, okay, we both get what we want then.
Well, okay, so I'm a cosplayer, so costumes are always on my mind. I'm always thinking, okay, how could they have made that better? They could have done everything to make those costumes better.
Oh my god!
Which one do you like? Is there any of them oh, this one was a little bit better than this one, or is all of them bad in your opinion?
I felt so the Suicide Squad is a team, but all the characters are very much individual. They differentiate from each other massively. But all of those costumes kind of used similar color palettes, and that just kind of missed the point completely.
Very paramilitary chic, yeah.
And Harley. That ain't Harley, I'm sorry. That ain't Harley.
It's new 52-ish Harley, but even then they go in another direction with it completely.
That's kind of what it looked like to me.
Her personality's intact. Although Killer Croc I thought was the worst, because honestly,
oh god,
I liked him.
I don't look it up.
Yeah, you know, me and you, Benny. I'm gonna say
it was classic. It was the classic Killer Croc.
Oh, classic nothing, dude.
I'm fine with Monster Man Croc. I know some people draw him as more reptilian, some people draw him more as a monster. For this, pared down, street level universe, Monster Man Croc, yeah.
Dude, he looks like a Goomba from the Super Mario Bros.
He does.
But he's got a bigger head. I'll give him that, yeah.
That's exactly what he looks like.
To me, he looked... Hold up, I'm trying to find the costume picture.
As far as the Harley Quinn goes, my opinion on Harley Quinn, I liked the costume. I don't think the girl looks like Harley Quinn. That's my odd, she doesn't look like Harley Quinn. She looks like a model with makeup on. I don't get a sense of Harley Quinn.
She looks as much as I don't like crapping over other cosplayers, because all cosplayers must love the characters, but she looks like one of those cosplayers that goes, oh my god, I'm going to cosplay Harley Quinn, but I don't want to put effort into a costume, so I'm just going to use stuff I already have and then put some rips in it and splat some paint on it.
Can I say I totally guessed this? She wears a jacket that we saw in another one. It's a jacket that says "Property of Joker" on the back. Can I just say that on my podcast, I totally predicted that, only I thought it would be a tramp stamp that said "Property of Joker."
So it's just a jacket.
Just a jacket. Just a jacket.
Well, she can take it off.
I'm actually a little disappointed on the whole Property of Joker. Now, we obviously don't know how much she's going to be attached to Joker, but DC has done a very good job of separating her from being Joker's girl, and it looks like the movie's going to be she's Joker's girl, and you're like,
again.
What? We just got away from that finally.
Well,
I think it's maybe because the comics just have to, the movie just has to repeat what we went through of the comics in about 15 years.
You really do, because people know who Harley Quinn is, but not really. People know her name, but not her origin story. So I feel like you have to do the Joker thing first, and then separate her, hopefully, and make this her own movie. I don't want to see that much Joker in this film. I want to see more Harley.
But wouldn't it have been better if they came out the gate and Harley is her own person? They just launched it with she has a history, but it's over, and then there's move forward.
That's exactly what I thought. That was the exact same thing I thought. The problem that I think that people have with Harley Quinn now, and they tried to fix this with Harley Quinn solo series, but it went on for so long that I don't know if you really can. But it's Harley Quinn and the Joker are the 1-2 punch of Gotham City. People think of Harley Quinn, they think of the Joker. people think of the Joker, they think of Harley Quinn. And when one shows up without the other, people are like, well, what's this? That's weird. Like, where's Harley Quinn or where's the Joker? You know, when people think of Harley Quinn, for example, if they think of her as Solo, they think of her as Batman the Animated Series, you know, or something like that. And so
Which is a great version.
Do I? Oh yeah, it's a
we-
great version. Yeah, it's. I mean, the original version, the best version, I think.
I mean,
But you know, I think that having, if they were to give her a separate character, if they were to say yes, she's very much intertwined with the Joker, but she's not a necessity for the Joker, and the Joker's not a necessity for her, I think it would be a great way to like move her in the direction of being an independent character. But right now in the comics, you got a Harley Quinn solo series, which is interesting enough, but then they're screwing it up with Convergence, and then you've got Harley Quinn and Suicide Squad, which is decent enough, but you know, it was Harley Quinn being a Suicide Squad wasn't reason enough for me to run out and buy the comics. So, you know, I mean, I'm interested to see what they do. I'm kind of curious to see how they make her a character.
I quite liked how they played her in the Assault on Arkham movie. Actually, I thought that was pretty well handled.
Yeah, no, I like that, where they established that she was there, but she was separating, and they kind of played it off. Maybe they'll do the same thing with that.
They're on break currently. Joker and Harley are on break.
Yeah, exactly.
They're free to see other
Great
people.
scene, though, seeing them together, like it was only 5 minutes, but it's like, all right, it told that Harley was with Joker, but you know, Harley is her own. I think they could do it, but at the same time, I don't know if I have faith in the DC Cinematic Universe to do it. But honestly, I'm super excited to see Suicide Squad.
Now,
and
here's
see
the
what they end up
question.
doing.
Here's the question. Before they dropped it like a ton of bricks in the New 52, they were trying very hard to romantically tie Deadshot, Floyd Lawton, and Harley Quinn, so much to the point that they prettied up Floyd Lawton in a way that he never was before. They tried it for a bit, and then they're like, whatever. And then they dropped it, and now Floyd Lawton's back to being ugly again with his big 70s porn stash. Do you think they're going to try that in the movie? Because, I mean, like, hey, the rumors flying around, Margot Robbie and Will Smith, they were in
They
that
had
other movie together.
They had the Focus, which wasn't even a horrible movie either. So maybe.
my biggest complaint about this is all the other actors, this is a good point, look like all the actors for the most part look like they're playing a character. They don't look like themselves. Will Smith looks like Will Smith. And Will Smith plays Will Smith in every single movie. He doesn't play characters, he plays Will Smith. And that is a big gripe that I have because I was a working actor for a long time. It's not fucking hard to not play yourself. If you're being paid for it, you can play someone else. And he's playing a comic book character, and comic book characters are icons. When you're going into a comic book movie, you play the character. You do not play yourself out of respect for the source material. And that's just a huge issue I have. Maybe he'll do it differently in the movie, but from that picture, he looks like Will Smith.
I think he's gonna play it like I get this weird feeling like he's gonna play it very similar to how he played like I Am Legend's character. It's gonna be like that kind of a character where he's like, oh, I'm gonna save the day, but I'm do what I want to do, you know, that kind of guy.
Maybe he'll be James West from Wild Wild West. Maybe he'll dust that character off again.
Okay, I just want to know one thing though. If we're watching, all of us are watching Suicide Squad, would anybody really be upset if in the middle of it he broke down into a Suicide Squad rap?
He really should. We've been saying that on our own show. Common is in the movie. Will Smith is in the movie. They need to collaborate on the greatest rap song
Common
for the
is going to be in that movie, isn't he? Yes, I want to see like Mos Def pop in for like a single verse, because it would be freaking amazing. Like if Mos Def popped in, like I mean it's they need to do like the Squad just don't understand is what they need to call
Squad
it.
Just don't. Or get suicide-y with it. Get suicide-y with it.
I'm actually kind of on the fence. I'm on the fence about Will Smith. I agree with Faust. I feel like every time Will Smith plays a role, it's always what would Will Smith be like in that role. Like, like this is what Will Smith would be like if they went to Earth 1,000 years after it was like, where people ran out of it. I feel like Will Smith plays a role like this is what Will Smith would be like if he was the last man on Earth. Like that's the role that Will Smith plays. So I agree with that to a degree. But
I mean, there's even a movie that's what would Will Smith be like if he was a fish?
What?
That's not acting, and that is, it's sad to see that, and I agree. But I think as an actor, that's your job, like Faust was saying also, and let's hope Will Smith can play a different character here. I'm just hoping the characters are good because the costumes are okay. I feel they're okay, but
dropping out.
We're dropping out. We're losing someone.
Did we lose Cat?
Oh, no.
We lost Cat. She's in
Come
just
back,
frozen.
damn it!
She's lost in thought.
Oh, no.
I don't know how we lost her. Like, I'm not even the
Yeah.
one hosting the internet anymore, Rob.
No, I mean, I've got nothing going on, man. I'm watching
She-
the stream, but that's it.
She clearly
think-
got assassinated by Deadshot for talking.
Is she-
So something happened.
Oh, there she is.
Oh, okay, there you are.
I got back. So I was just gonna say I don't even remember what I said, so forget about it.
Your camera.
Building on-
Drop your camera real fast and bring it back so we can try to get it rotating back again.
Building off the whole Deadshot thing, it's funny for Will Smith to take this role of what is essentially a bad guy. But I like, even when he's a bad guy, he's got to play a guy who's not totally bad. Because Floyd Lawton, he's complicated, and he does it for his daughter, and he's not really that much of a scumbag. And he doesn't quite like the other guys on his team because they're a little bit more evil than he is.
Yeah.
Well, you know what
Well,
the
the
problem
same-
I have with Floyd is, as soon as they got rid of the mustache, they tried to give him like a character. He had this nice Budo mustache going for the longest time, and they're like,
That
"Oh,
was my
shave that
favorite
off."
version.
Now he's a good guy.
Secret Six, that was my favorite version with that horrible mustache, and he couldn't dress. And there's a great bit where he's going on a date, and like Knockout and Banshee are trying to dress him, and he's wearing like this horrible used car salesman suit. I'm like, oh, that's good stuff. I like that.
And I'm going to be honest, Katana being there makes me feel slightly uncomfortable.
It's weird.
I mean, she was in the Suicide Squad a long time ago, like just after her run on The Outsiders, but I don't think that was the Katana that they're using there. I think that was a different character that went by Katana. So, I don't know, it makes me feel really uncomfortable.
It looks random, I feel. And also, I mean, you could go back to the TV shows too. Like, you have Katana and Arrow, and I mean, this is the big thing about the DC Cinematic Universe and their TV universe.
They're double
Do we
dipping.
need a repetitiveness of having Katana in two places? I don't think so. Do we need a Flash movie? Definitely not, because we have a Flash TV
Yeah.
show. That's like a whole different.
Katana
subject
couldn't even
altogether.
keep a solo comic, so does she really need to be in a movie and a TV show?
Exactly.
Well, I will say this though, her
say the same thing.
her appearance in Arrow has nothing to do with that character, really. Like, I'm not even.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I wasn't even aware that it was Katana until like halfway through the season. I'm like, that's Katana.
I mean, I personally feel like if they really, really want to use Katana that badly, make a Birds of Prey movie.
Yes, please. Yes, please. Gail Simone for
Yeah.
life. Yes, please.
Love to see that.
So, I mean, I think we all agree. We're all excited about it, but we're all kind of like on the fence as to where this is really going to go and what's going to happen with this. So, I mean,
I like we totally talked over Jai Courtney, as we should. Because it's like Jai Courtney, who Sam Worthington 2.0. You don't say so.
well, my problem with the cast of Suicide Squad is it's huge. I gotta really, I really feel like it's
9.
gonna be handled like Avengers 2, without spoilers and without going into a discussion about it. There was just so many people on it that no one got
Well, here's
proper
the
screen
thing.
time.
Here's the
that
thing about
was-
the squad and 9 members. Adam Beach as Slipknot ain't making it. I'm gonna say that right now.
Yeah.
Slipknot is gonna die in the first 5 minutes. You mark my words.
I mean, I feel like that's going to be the inherent problem with this movie. I think this movie is DC like in desperation mode. Like, oh my God, like Marvel's got all these movies and we got to cash in. You know, we got to get on this cash cow of like cinematic movies. So they're like, you know what? Let's just take like a whole bunch of no names and just like, or a whole bunch of no-name characters from the comics anyway, throw them into like the Suicide Squad, like they used to do in the comics,
Yep.
and then let's just like release like 9 people at one time, and let's have like Tom Hardy, and let's have like Will Smith, and let's have Common and stuff like that. And they're like, well, oops, Tom Hardy dropped out, which is reason enough for me to second guess whether or not the film's worth going to see. But you know, the fact remains that I agree. I think it may be too much at one time. I think this is going to have a very like Spider-Man 3 feel to it. Like there's so much happening in such a short amount of time,
Me
and
too.
everybody's all over the place, and it's like, all right, I don't understand what's going on here.
That's a lot of the films I think is going to happen. Is I think DC's rushing their films, and that's why it's going. I think every single movie is going to feel rushed, which is really upsetting. Because I want to see a really cool DC film, and I
they
want
thought
to say
it out.
Suicide Squad might be that one, but you guys are totally right. It's a huge cast,
At
and let's
least-
hope they could, you know.
At
And-
least thematically and tonally with Suicide Squad, what's the big complaint in all DC movies? Oh god, why did this have to be so dark and gritty? At least Suicide Squad is inherently dark and gritty.
Well,
Yeah, they're
that's the
undertaking
rumor.
suicidal missions.
Well, that's the rumor that's floating about. They're not doing it dark and gritty. The rumor floating about is they're doing their own version of Guardians of the Galaxy, but in Suicide Squad.
Oh,
Oh, come on, man.
The one
That's
thing
not-
they should
Really?
do dark is the one thing they don't.
they
do
don't.
Yeah, the Suicide Squad needs the Suicide. Like, here's what I was hoping. I was hoping the Suicide Squad would have like a Sucker Punch feel to it. Like,
That would've been
I would
cool.
go watch. It would be really cool. Like sit down and watch Suicide Squad, and it feels like Zack Snyder's Sucker Punch. That would be a great movie to see. But if it's going to be like Guardians of the Galaxy, I've seen that. Do something different.
It should be the
Like-
Dirty Dozen.
But
It should
that's
be
The
the
Dirty
thing.
Dozen. There you go.
That's the thing. They don't know how to do something different, and when they did with the Green Lantern movie, it flopped.
That's because
Um,
what they did different was bad.
Does it
Yeah,
suck?
but now they're scared to do anything that's not
Anything
dark and gritty
fun
and
or
serious,
exciting.
and that's why we had the Man of Trainwreck.
Yeah.
So I don't know, like that just scared them into trying anything different. Superman didn't need to be dark. Batman versus Superman, you're gonna need a huge contrast in light versus dark. Suicide Squad does need to be fucking dark.
I don't know. The Assault on Arkham was not a very dark movie. I mean, it had its moments, but I felt it was more comical than dark.
It was also an animated movie, so
Yeah.
I feel like it needs a different feel. Honestly, I wish they saved that script for Suicide Squad
Tell
because
me
I thought that
about
was a
it.
pretty good movie.
Tell me about it. You know who I want to see? I want to see my girl Amanda Waller. Where's my girl Amanda Waller?
That's what I'm
at?
saying, man. Like I was looking at that and I was like, I want to see like Amanda Waller Suicide Squad. I want to see her show up and say, "You guys go out there, don't get killed."
Here's my
Nobody
question for you,
screws the
though.
wall.
Do you want hot and skinny and sexy Amanda Waller, or do you want
No.
large Oprah fat?
I
Amanda
want
Waller?
Large.
large Oprah Fat
Large
from
all the
from
way.
the animated series.
In
Amanda
fact,
Waller.
let's go the extra mile. I want Oprah playing Amanda Waller.
That was floating around the internet for a bit. That was a joke
Hey.
that floated around for a bit. And you get to be on the squad. And you get to be on the squad.
That would be perfect. I would love to see that.
Yeah, like I want to see like big Amanda Waller. Like she's authoritative, but you also
Mm.
know that like Saturday mornings she cooks a damn good breakfast.
Aw,
like
yeah.
that's the Amanda Waller.
The comments agree. They want Oprah for Waller, so.
Yeah,
Hashtag Oprah
big
for
Amanda Waller.
I could buy Oprah Winfrey in real life actually has a black ops team of death row inmates doing jobs for her.
That
Totally
would
see
be
Giving
that.
cars to
amazing.
people. That
I
would
mean-
Giving cars to people.
I mean, she does have the OWN network, and she says it's to show that we all own that network. But no, it's Oprah just reminding us that she owns us. She rules the world.
She's the big O.
secret. She is the Illuminati.
I was gonna say she is the
owns
leader of it all.
television, But she
Yeah.
decides not to. She just has the one channel. Says, but I could own every channel, but I'll stay with this one for now.
You don't screw the wall and you don't screw the big O.
No, you don't. But no, I think Amanda Waller is a great anchor for
Oh,
the
yeah.
Suicide Squad because if they introduce a Suicide Squad and they say, well, it's just a bunch of guys who just happen to come together and they're just operating as a team, and it makes it seem disjointed. It makes it seem like they're just kind of running around doing whatever and there's no rhyme or reason for why it's happening. But if they bring in Amanda Waller, even if the entire movie is Amanda Waller in the first like 10 minutes saying, go do this, and they spend the whole movie doing that, at least it gives it like a basis. It gives it a foundation.
Which many Suicide Squad comics absolutely are. There's a
Yeah.
great line in the Young Justice show where she shows up briefly, where she's like prepping the prisoners and she's like, I'm not your mother, I'm not your maiden aunt, I'm your warden. I'm like, I like it. I like all
Yes.
of this.
Like that's what I want. Like the sassy, no holds barred,
Gets
do
in
what I tell you
Batman's
to.
face because she doesn't care. I love that.
Yeah, like that's the Amanda Waller that I think a lot of fans love. And like I said, to have like a solid, authoritative figure like that directing this band of criminals makes sense. Otherwise, it just seems like it's just a bunch of lawless group of criminals who just kind of happen to be doing the right thing, but not really, And so it's it depends on how they do it. But I'm afraid that given what I've seen so far with a lot of the DC live action movies, that they're just going to say, well, these guys just came together by happenstance. And
Well, I think they did confirm Amanda Waller is going to be in it. I think Viola Davis
is
said
she?
she was going to
Yeah.
be Amanda Waller. So, which
Huh.
I'm happy about because I think she'd be a great Amanda Waller.
now,
Let's
all right,
hope
now
she's a big part.
Viola Davis, is she the one that plays Amanda Waller in Arrow?
No,
Or-
She's the one who is from How to Get Away with Murder. She's the main.
Yeah,
Oh, dude, if she's playing Amanda Waller, that's the
She's
tits.
good.
Like, she is amazing.
She's good.
She's a great
I
actress.
would have cast CCH Pounder because I still
Yes.
think Pounder could play it in live action.
CCH
I
founder,
felt
she had
Oprah should be Amanda Waller, but
Get the voice actor from Assault on Arkham, Trevia says.
That was Pounder. That was CCH Pounder. She came back from the Justice League cartoon and did it in that
Oh,
movie.
did she?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
she was. See, it's funny. It's funny when you think about that because I think like a lot of times we look like looking at Suicide Squad and looking at Amanda Waller. Well, the Suicide Squad wasn't really featured in any of the Justice League animated series. I don't think. Like,
They had one episode, but they weren't in costume.
okay, but like we look at Amanda Waller and we say like that is Amanda Waller. like that's the Amanda Waller I know. I mean, she's like the Amanda Waller in the comics. I mean, she's very similar, with the exception of how she presents herself. You can only go so far in an animated series geared for kids, but the fact remains that is the Amanda Waller we know. And so when you sit down and you say, which version of Amanda Waller do you want? Do you want the one in Arrow? No. Like, do you want the one from like the animated series? Yes.
What I love about that character,
Yes,
what I love
it does.
about the character in the comics, and it's something they've kind of missed in the latest Suicide Squad run, but that's a train wreck of a whole nother sort. It's this idea that Waller is a morally complex character. She is not 100% good or evil. She is a civil servant given a dirty job by an uncaring government, and she's going to finish it however she sees fit.
Like, you like that element or you don't like that element?
Oh, I love that element about her.
Okay. Yeah, I was like, that's a really cool element to have. I mean, like previously, if I remember correctly, because I don't remember a whole lot from Amanda Waller's Suicide Squad, from like volume 1, I think, leading up until like now, actually. I think originally she was a character who was very authoritative, but she was working for the government and like basically treated the Suicide Squad members like crap. Like, and okay, that's what I thought. That one I think is kind of interesting. Like, she seems more like a villain, if anything, in the early stories. If what they've made her out to be now, because honestly, I haven't even touched the current run of Suicide Squad. I
You
wasn't
should.
really
It's not good.
okay. Like, if they present her now as like this middle of the road, like on again, off again villain / hero.
Well, I'm
That's
talking like the
kind of interesting.
Ostrander. I'm talking like the Ostrander stuff where she's like, look,
Okay.
where it's like, I'm bad, but everyone else is much worse than I am, and you need me. I am a necessary evil to save the country and to safeguard
Okay, yeah,
peace
yeah,
and
yeah.
democracy.
Yeah, I remember that from the okay. I remember like seeing that character in Ostrander's run up until like 92 or something like that. I think is when he stopped writing it. But like, yeah, that was cool. Like, I like that element of Amanda Waller. Like, I thought you were talking about like right now.
No, this version now is just a lame, watered-down version.
Oh, okay.
She's not. No, the version now is not too bad.
She's literally half the woman she used to be. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Thanks, everyone.
I'm not. I mean, I was following the Suicide Squad book up until recently. Joel, come back, please. Thank you. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of steered away from Suicide Squad for a little while. They brought me back by bringing on Reverse Flash and then blowing his knee out because he ran too fast. That was
it's
funny.
gotten better. It's gotten better currently, or at least it's gotten like so grindhouse. It's actually pretty good. Like you said, Reverse Flash's legs explode. They go to China and fight evil clones. I hear they're gonna actually be fighting ISIS later. Actually,
But you know what I love about Reverse Flash though is they don't call him Reverse Flash. They call him Not Flash.
yeah,
Our
Way to
Not
go.
Flash broke his leg.
Way to go, Not Flash.
Yeah, exactly. So
I don't know
okay,
how I
yeah.
feel about that, man. That's kind of
Well, Reverse. Oh, what they did was they brought in a new team and they had Black Manta running, and he joined up because he wanted to redeem
For a
himself. and give
very
himself
stupid reason that
Yeah.
Black Manta was on that team.
He decided that he just wanted a reason because he has no reason to fight Aquaman anymore, and they gave them Reverse Flash, but he lost a lot of his power when Flash sucked it all out of him in the run. So he was on the team and like he's running, and they're like, you gotta run faster, and he runs faster, and his knee just blows out.
But it's
'Cause
the Daniel West version, not the
Yeah.
Eobard Thawne version. It's
it's the new version, so that's why they've never officially called him Reverse Flash. He's always been
Okay.
Daniel West. The black
people
one,
think
the
of
one
Reverse
that's
Flash, they
black
think
with
of
the red
Flash.
face. He's like the black spiky monorail stuff. Yeah.
yeah.
And they're going to be changing that team up again. Poison Ivy is going to be on it, and like Black Hand and Parasite are going to be on it for the
Yeah, I
next
saw that.
Convergence run.
I don't know how you can have Black Hand on it. Like, zombies, go!
It's weird because like Suicide Squad was always D-list expendable villains. It's like, well, now you're filling the team up with A and B list villains. You can't kill these guys.
That's what I thought Suicide was so well known. Suicide Squad was so well known for. Is it like characters like Deadshot and like Captain Boomerang and stuff like that, were like these like super obscure, almost totally unknown villains that like came to the forefront with Suicide Squad. People were like, "Holy cow, Deadshot! This guy's awesome."
Like, at the same time, that was why it was such a great idea to bring in Harley Quinn, because before the New 52, yeah, she was known for being the Joker's girlfriend. She had that run in Gotham City Sirens, and she
Which
had
is great.
she had her own comic for a little bit. But
A little bit.
Gotham City Sirens, I think, was one of the best things they ever did with Harley Quinn. And the whole reason
It
for
really
that was because, like, up until that point, it was Harley Quinn's Joker. Like, that was it. But to like pair her up with oh god, Poison Ivy and Catwoman, right?
Yeah, it was Poison Ivy, Catwoman, and
Catwoman.
Harley Quinn, and they had this whole adventure where they
Yeah.
basically the whole run was the three of them trying to break out of the molds they had. Like, we're some strong, independent women, and we don't need no men. Screw
Do
you,
it
Batman.
ourselves.
Screw you, Joker. Does Poison Ivy even? Screw you, Swamp Thing. I don't know who's she with.
Screw
she
you,
was
trees.
Screw you, trees. Yeah,
But I know
against it.
Catwoman and Harley Quinn were both trying to break out of the molds of we're just the girls that follow the guys. I don't know what Poison Ivy was doing.
She follows the
She,
trees.
she was saying "screw you, nature" and was like watching TV.
I'm done with you.
But nature is a mother, though. I don't understand.
Like,
I'm confused.
Screw you, blades of grass. Like, I'm not gonna water you. You're just gonna be dry.
But
They
how do you
were
feel-
three strong, independent women, and they went on a road trip to California to play in a role in a movie. And oh, sorry, that's a
was-
crappy movie I saw this week.
but it was great. How do you feel in the New 52 they're actually pushing Poison Ivy into more of a heroic direction? She hasn't
I
actually
like that.
done anything villainous in
It's
quite some time.
weird. It's
I
weird.
like it. I do. It kind of matches up with Swamp Thing and everything.
So-
I guess it's easy because she's an eco-terrorist, and then they can switch this. Well, no, she's just more of an extreme eco person. We're going to lose the terrorist angle.
Yeah,
mean-
okay. Like, as long as
I
you
mean-
lose the phrase terrorist, it's not really violence so much as it is like, you know, a strong ideology.
There you
Poor
go.
Faust. Speak,
Nature
please,
for
Faust.
bad
Faust.
things.
Faust, please go. Go, Faust. You've been trying for like 5 minutes. All I hear is,
I mean- It's fine. I mean, I feel like I've always felt like Poison Ivy shouldn't necessarily be a hero, but shouldn't necessarily be a villain. She should just be in like this weird role of she does what she has to do to get what she wants, and if someone gets hurt along the way, then sorry, have a tree.
Sorry about your luck.
have a tree. Did she just give
She's
trees?
chaotic neutral.
Yeah,
Really?
pretty
Are
much.
we going to go D&D terms? Is that really what we're going to do now?
Super nerd Joel is at it again.
I mean, here's a weird thing about Poison Ivy. This is something that I never really got a whole lot with her character. If her character is rooted in nature itself, and she sees herself as Mother Nature itself, as she's nurturing and caring for all aspects of nature, trees and grass, and she's the one behind the happening, like M. Night Shyamalan movie. Like, if she's the person, you know, that does all that stuff, you know, nobody laughed at my joke, but whatever. You know, if she's the person that's behind all that stuff, then why would she care about the goings on of anybody who's not doing anything other than impeding on, you know, or I guess causing problems for nature? If someone is logging, then of course she'd probably care about that. If someone's dumping chemicals into a river, she's going to care about that. If someone's robbing a bank, of what relevance would it be to her? I mean, what
Well,
would
money
be the point of that?
paper, trees.
There you go.
There you go.
Okay, that's like the flimsiest connection ever.
Okay, but then at the same time, what would she fight? Like, oh my god, you stood on an ant, you need to die?
Well, in all honesty, what does Swamp Thing fight? I mean, that's all he's about.
Yeah.
Protect the swamp. Oh my god, evil dynamic creatures. Ah!
There was
Yeah,
a great
that's-
issue. There was a great issue of Gotham Central where like all these street kids were getting harassed by these dirty cops, and we eventually go to like Poison Ivy's greenhouse and we find out that she's been like taking care of all these street kids and like growing food for them to eat. And then she tricks the dirty cops into coming in thinking it's a meeting with Black Mass, and then she like hangs them from vines and stuff.
That's pretty cool, though. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think I read that issue.
It was good. Gotham Central rocks. It's better than Gotham.
So we've been talking quite a while about Suicide Squad, and somehow we're just on a total tangent about what Poison Ivy really is. So let's move on to our next topic, and since we've been doing so much DC, let's move over to the Secret Wars, which have officially, technically, kind of, not really started.
Yeah, like, okay, I don't understand why they called it Secret Wars Zero. Like, it had nothing to do with Secret Wars, and it was basically Valerie Richards being like, or Valeria Richards being like, hey, we have a raft.
It was
Well,
a catch-up issue. It was,
That's
for everyone
all it
who, it
was.
was for everyone who can't watch our shows, is what it is.
Yeah, that's
Exactly.
pretty
and
much
they had
it.
that little disclaimer in the bottom.
Okay,
Guys don't
okay,
watch
s-
shows.
okay. So here is my biggest question: how old is Franklin Richards now? Because I thought he was 8, but there he had to have been at least 14.
Oh, it's funny. Like, he bounces around all the time. Like I remember when I was doing the whole, like, Franklin Richards explained, that was the thing that got me the most. Like, there's one point where he ages himself to, like, a full-grown adult. He makes himself Jesus. There's one point where like he de-ages himself. Like once that's done, he ages back and it resets his aging. So now he's younger than he was before he aged himself. And then like he goes on like that. He grows for a few years and then suddenly he's a kid again. Like during Future Foundation, he was younger during Future Foundation than he was like previously in continuity. Like
Those
it's
Richard kids are
Yeah.
so weird. They even Valeria, her origins is off too. It's the whole she was the daughter of Doctor Doom, and then she got rebirthed the web or whatever. It's like
Yeah,
they're so
it's-
confusing.
Well,
There's
they're
only-
homeschooled kids. What do you expect?
I mean,
Old school
there's only-
Fantastic Four.
I mean, there's only one thing set in stone about Valeria that they keep saying is she will never have powers. No, she can never have powers.
She does have powers. She can
She's
neutralize her
super
brother's
smart.
powers.
That's entirely what her powers are.
Yeah, she neutralizes Franklin's powers. Like that's it.
That's like the Wonder Twins. One of them turns into water, the other one turns into ferocious animals. I'm a bucket of water, and I'm a tiger. You are useless.
Someone got the better end of genetics on that one.
Dude, there was an episode of Harvey Birdman, Attorney at Law, where the Wonder Twin who turns into water, the guy, he was talking about how like all of the members of the Justice League were gone except for the Native American dude, and
Apache Chief.
and Birdman was like, you happen to have expressed knowledge of the whereabouts of like Wonder Woman, you know? And he was like, yeah. He's like, she was taking a bath, and he's like, how'd you know that? He's like, I was a bathwater.
Xander. Oh wow, I remembered what his name was. Crap.
Yeah, I never knew. I
Wonder
never knew
Twin
what his
powers.
name
All
was.
right, Faust, hold on. Ready? When I call it, you got to stick your hand up there. Wonder Twin powers activate. No, okay.
He's like, whatever, man. I guess kind of activating.
They brought the Wonder Twins back for like Justice League 3000. How weird is that?
Oh, I know. Yeah.
They did.
Didn't work out.
So now we're totally not. We're back on DC again. The Wonder Twins are technically DC guys. So can we go back to Secret Wars and Franklin Richards and all that?
Okay. So here was a funny question. Like, I didn't like the way Hickman did this. I mean, but Hickman didn't really have a choice, you know, because unless he were to create a whole nother side story. And my thought about Hickman, I don't know exactly how he writes. I don't know if maybe he just plays it by ear, if he plans like a month ahead of time or what. But I feel like he sits down and he says, okay, like I'm going to be writing Time Runs Out. So here's like 3 years worth and like in this grandiose story, and he has it all pinned out and planned out and written down and everything. I have no idea that's the case. I'd like to think that's true.
I don't think that's the case, because what I think he did, well, I think there was an overall plan. I do agree to that. Like,
Yeah.
we're going to have the incursions happen. We're going to have this happen. Tony Stark and Captain America are going to fight, and they're going to argue, and we're going to have Doctor Doom be the guy behind it all. But what I think it was like, here's my arc, and then Marvel was like, make that into 3 years. Because there's definitely moments in that where it's like he's dragging, like, dude, New Avengers, I think 13 to 21 is literally just looking at alternate realities. Like, nothing
that's
even
exactly
happens.
what it is. Nothing happens. Like number 13 is like Reed Richards saying, hey, like we've created a way to look at other realities, and all the other ones are just these other realities.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Wait, they do like how many issues of looking at other realities?
It's like 10
like
issues. As soon as
7, yeah,
Infinity
7, 8,
ended,
9, something like that.
once Infinity ended, the entire thing up until when Namor blew up the first world was nothing but alternate realities. And he blows up the first world in issue 24. And I'm pretty sure it's like 22 and 23 where they fight the Justice League guys. And every issue before that is them looking at other realities and how they coped with it.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
I
like
stopped at Infinity.
yeah, like they had the Black Priest and stuff, but he could have easily explained the Black Priest without having it expand over
Dude.
like 7 or 8 issues, whatever it was.
The Black Priests were just, but like even in the fight, I totally think he made them up for filler, because when they go through the explanation in the last issue of New Avengers, the Doom explaining everything, he literally says, "What about the Black Priests? Oh, I don't really know what they are. I think it was the multiverse fighting against what I'm doing."
Yeah, that was exactly. I forgot about that. That's true. Yeah, he's like they're there. They're a consequence of the multiversal collapse, and done. That's it.
Yeah, that's it. Like, there's no explanation or anything what they are. The map makers were given an explanation, but the Black Priests were like, nah. What he should have said was, I needed to fill a few issues, so I made another villain.
You know what would have made a whole lot more sense if he just said like these are all alternate reality versions of like Charles Xavier or something like that. Or like alternate reality versions of Doctor Strange himself. But no, one of the things that I didn't like, and like I said, I think Hickman was backed into a corner here, was the big question of Franklin Richards. Because the one question I saw being asked everywhere, like on every forum all over the place, is if Franklin Richards can warp reality, why isn't he stopping the incursions? Why is it that as soon as a reality pops up, he just goes to that alternate reality, he phases that Earth out of existence, comes back and says, okay, and that's it.
Why can't Kitty? Kitty just got her powers to phase planets with Black
It's
Vortex.
true.
Why can't she do
Yes,
that?
she did. And that
There's
was
so many characters that could.
there's a
make
lot of
this
people that
happen.
could do a lot of different things. I mean, by the time the thing comes to an end, they find a way to phase a planet into the planet Earth as like this layer of protection, so that when the Shi'ar show up and like attack the planet Earth, nothing happens, and then they use a Dyson sphere and annihilate the entire Shi'ar fleet. Like all that and like Franklin Richards couldn't fix what was going on. But that'd be the question, because the
Well-
problem here is if Hickman came out and Hickman said, "Oh my God, there's a random incursion and there's no one there to save it," so Franklin Richards just like fixes it with a snap of his fingers, and fans are going to say, "Well, why didn't he do that the entire time?"
Everything.
Well,
Why did he
and
do
they
that
wrote
every
him off
single
in a single panel. Franklin Richards was killed in Time Runs Out, off panel, and all we got was a scene of Reed Richards holding him, being like, "We tried everything."
We tried everything. Yeah. Well, I don't think. I mean, did he die or is he still alive? Because I thought he was.
He's
I thought
in
he was still
Fantastic
alive.
Four. He's in that series. So
Yeah, but Fantastic Four is separate where they're killing him off. Which, by the way, The End Is Forever is absolute garbage.
Is
Of
it?
course it is.
It's terrible. Like
course
it's,
it
it's
is.
it's one of the worst stories I've ever read. I was
Because
like,
it's
this.
nothing happened in the end of it.
Well,
It's
I
like,
mean-
oh, Fantastic Four doesn't exist. Yeah, we do. Nothing actually got accomplished in
Well,
that.
I mean, that was a problem. You see, I think here's what I think the end is forever was. Like, I think the end is forever was Marvel were like, let's just grind this into the ground. Like, let's
Yeah.
just destroy any desire to read this series any further.
Salt the earth so nothing will ever grow again.
That's exactly what it was. They salted the Fantastic Four, and no one's gonna go buy those comics again. Like, but I mean, I wouldn't. Like, I'll probably never go pick up a Fantastic Four comic again.
I don't
weird
feel
about
bad that I
that.
haven't ever picked him up. I never picked up a Fantastic Four comic outside of it being a part of an event. I got it for events, Faust. Don't give me that look.
Action, though.
No, I'm just surprised that you didn't read Fantastic Four 1, 2, 3, 4.
No,
The Grant Morrison run.
no,
Oh well, obviously
Oh, no.
we've read the old stuff. I'm saying like the new.
no. I've
stuff.
Oh.
never read
Stuff
any
on it.
Fantastic Four. Like I've
Really? None of
yeah,
I mean, and you don't need to. Like, all
Not
right,
even
let me
the
tell you
great
something.
Hickman run of Fantastic Four. We were talking about Hickman before. I hold his Hickman
Oh,
run of Fantastic
Yeah, Future
Four
Foundation. Hickman's run of Future Foundation is almost as good as Time Runs Out. Like it's pretty stellar. But let me tell you something. People talk about the relevance of the Fantastic Four this, Fantastic Four that. The Fantastic Four stopped being relevant in the 1970s, and the reason why was because Spider-Man had like a major, not really a major, but he was like caught I think ground with a lot of fans of Fantastic Four, and he was like, "Can I be a member of the Fantastic Four?" And they were like, "Nope." And so he went and tried to become one of the Avengers instead. You know, characters like, God, who else was featured in the Fantastic Four? The Inhumans appeared in the Fantastic
They
Four.
did.
Like, there were a lot of different. That was Marvel's platform. If Marvel wanted to introduce a character or team, and they
Black
wanted to see if
Panther
it would be
showed up there,
popular,
too.
Black Panther, they would put him in the Fantastic Four because everybody was reading the Fantastic Four. And so if fans read the Fantastic Four and they're like, wow, Black Panther, this guy's cool, Black Panther gets his own series. If they introduce the Inhumans, people are like, wow, the Inhumans are cool, this guy never talks, I wonder why. But the solo series is absolute garbage, so it didn't really matter. People are like, wow, Inhumans. Like, they go and they start reading Inhumans. Fantastic Four were relevant for catapulting and launching a lot of early comic book stories and characters and teams and so on. Once they gained their own ground, once like the inner circle of the comic books of Marvel Comics, Spider-Man, the X-Men, Fantastic, or the Inhumans, all those guys, once they gained their ground and they were solid and firm and going on their own stories, there was no need for the Fantastic Four anymore. And that's why, like, over the course of the entire Fantastic Four continuity, they're almost never relevant because they're not fighting the major things. It's not like you read, Infinity and it's like, well, oh my God, like the Avengers are being destroyed and like the X-Men are nowhere to be found and like the incursions are happening and the Illuminati are dealing with the builders of an alternate reality. Like, who's going to save us? And Reed Richards is like, we are. like no one, the Fantastic Four, like no one thinks that. Like,
I mean, isn't the problem with the
Good in other
Fantastic
stuff?
Well, isn't the problem with the Fantastic Four is that every time I've ever tried a Fantastic Four book, they're never even on 616. They're like, we're time traveling, we're dimension hopping,
Yeah,
we're
that's
doing
it.
this, we're underground, we're fighting mole people,
We're in space.
We're in
with Family
space.
Trip. That was Matt Fraction's run. He was in space on a family trip and they time traveled. It's like,
Yep.
no, thank you.
And
I love that.
I mean,
Fraction,
that was like Age of Ultron. Like, Age of Ultron starts, and the Fantastic Four are out in space. And, like, Black Panther calls up Reed Richards and is literally like, hey, man, like, Ultron's laying waste to the planet. You might want to come back. And so Susan Storm and Reed Richards are like, okay. And they leave Franklin and Valeria on the ship out in space. They go to Earth, and Reed Richards dies, and Ben Grimm dies. And Susan Storm is like, left, and we know how the whole thing plays out with her. Like that's literally what happened to Phantastic Four.
Speaking of
Like-
Fantastic Four, as bad parents, I remember the Dark Reign tie-in that I really loved.
Oh my
where it's
God.
Reed sitting in his room being like, gotta stop the Civil War, gotta find a reality where the Civil War didn't happen. And Sue and everyone else is outside, and they're like, Reed, take care of your babies, take care of your children, Reed. And then Norman Osborn kicks down the door, and it's like, I'm taking your children now, because I'm evil.
I mean, like during Hickman's run of the Future Foundation, like there's that room where Reed has like nothing but equations on how to solve the problem of everything. Like that's the whole basis of the Council of Reeds. Reeds is like, I want to solve the problem of everything. And so then he finds a Council of Reeds, and they're like, hey, all of us abandon our families. And Reed Richards is like, I'm not going to do that. And then lo and behold, Mad Celestials, Franklin Richards makes Galactus his herald, yada yada yada. But like it was a really cool run. Whatever.
That was a hell of a yada 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 run. Like yada yada yada, Galactus showed up and everyone became heralds and fuck that, whatever.
You can't yada yada Galactus.
That was probably the most awesome scene. Like the most awesome point in that whole run is when Galactus is like totally defeated by the Mad Celestials that combine into a single being, and then Franklin Richards like makes him his herald. Like he brings him back to life, and then like empowers him, gives him more power, and then has him fight like the Celestials. That was probably one of the coolest moments in like all of Fantastic Four's continuity. But yeah, whatever.
I mean, my issue with the Fantastic Four is I love Susan Storm,
Yeah.
and I love Reed Richards, but I don't like them together. I think my favorite time was when they split up during Civil War, and I was like, yes, finally.
Is the first family of Marvel, and they're really the only couple that's even still
Yeah.
together. But at the
Yeah.
same time, they're more boring than, let's say, Mary Jane and Peter Parker, who should get back together, in my opinion. But,
I know,
yeah.
Mary Jane holds back Peter Parker. Superior Spider-Man proved that.
Mary Jane holds
Mary
him
kind
Jane
of
and
did.
Peter forever.
Hey man, Doc Ock said himself, I have done the math. I have looked at this statistically, and every time Peter and Mary Jane are together, it does not work out.
Exactly.
Everything doesn't work out for Peter. At least he should have Mary Jane.
But one day it could, is the thing. That's the hope we all hold on to.
I
Maybe
like-
this time will be the right time.
I liked
this one
Carly
was-
Simon, but whatever, you know.
I mean, everyone. That
I like Anne Marie. I think he should start dating Anne Marie now. She's great.
I mean, I did a
got
Spider.
you. No.
Poor
I did a
Faust.
Spider-Gwen video recently, and so many people were like, oh yeah, Peter should date Spider-Gwen. Yeah, he should date Spider-Gwen. I was like, he should only date Spider-Gwen if they're going to kill her off in the exact same way yet again, just for the irony.
Okay, wouldn't that
That's so
be
weird.
like
She's like a teenager still. I mean, she's in college, and he's like, what, 30-something? So it's like,
yeah, like 34 years
Yeah,
old.
the
Like,
age
hey,
difference
what's going on, Spider-Gwen?
Could-
Like,
no, could- I don't even think she's in.
Spider-Gwen.
I think she's like 19. She's like going to college. Like she just
Yeah.
graduated high school. So that would be kind of awkward. You know, he's like 35. He's like, this isn't wrong in any way, shape, or form. You don't
Yeah,
look
like
like
the
my
girl's not even old
teenage
enough to drink.
girlfriend.
Yeah,
We should go
what's
out.
going on, girl?
I keep getting older, but they stay the same age.
don't worry, everybody. They still draw me like I'm 22.
Yeah, really, it's fine.
So here's a big question that I would ask. I mean, we have like Secret Wars #1 coming out tomorrow, so I guess we'll find out. But with regards to the end of time runs out, Captain America and Tony Stark are still fighting, and the Ultimate Universe is now like invading the main Marvel universe.
Right.
Full scale invasion. Nick Fury's like, sorry about their luck. One of us got to go, and it ain't gonna be me. So, so I'm really curious to see. God, I'm really excited to see how that turns out. This is probably this is probably one of the most exciting moments I've had in the history of Marvel's continuity with like all the stories that I've read. I'd say this is probably about as exciting as I was when I was going through and reading like, I don't know, maybe like Age of Apocalypse. I guess.
Awkward silence. Wait, hold on. How come we all talk over each other the entire podcast? Faust can't even get a word in edgewise. Finally, there's a lull in the moment where Rob's just done talking, and everyone's like, "What's he gonna say?" No one's saying anything.
Everybody knows I'm
Story.
getting ready to say something awesome.
Rob's about to kick some knowledge. It's going to be some profound.
So
Drop
to me,
some knowledge bombs.
To me, it just looked like you were going, oh, I'm just excited as What's exciting has ever happened in Marvel? Has anything exciting ever happened? Just say the thing from the top of your
this
mind.
exciting. Like it's high time Marvel did this. Like I say it time and time again. This is why I give DC kudos. DC said, okay, you know what, whatever. Like older fans are going to be pissed. Who cares? Let's just reboot everything. And so they did it. And it was number ones, and it was Superman. Start with Action Comics number one and Superman number one, and that's it. That's all you needed. Start with Batman, Zack Snyder's run, and I guess read what do you call it? The Killing Joke. Like that's really all you need. I mean, that was really cool stuff. Like it's
Batman
high
Inc., 'cause
time.
that's still in.
Do what?
I said, and Batman Inc. because the Morrison stuff is still kind of in.
But I would say, like
Kind
with Marvel, it's high time they did that. It's high time Marvel came along and said, in some form or fashion, we're resetting the continuity. What I'm hoping here is Marvel's going to come back and they're going to say, okay, here's Earth 616. Like, because we know that we're going to have the Ultimate Universe and the Earth 616 existing like side by side on some chunk of land, and the Inhumans are going to be there. I hope they're going to say there's like 10 people who survived the multiversal collapse in the Earth
The
616
ship can
continuity.
hold 60. Valeria said in the Zero issue their ship can hold 60.
But
So here's
remember,
hoping
like-
your favorite is one of the 60.
Well, they said all they're going to be taking like a lot of scientists and stuff. And so like we know they'll take Amadeus Cho. We know, like, okay, the top 10 smartest people. So Reed Richards, Tony Stark, Amadeus Cho, Bruce Banner. He said that he dropped himself out. He ain't going anywhere. He's probably going to be part of Planet Hulk anyway. So I guess it won't
Forget
matter.
me
but
not from the X-Men. He can come.
all the hopefully, I don't even know if she's still around anymore. But Sage would be a good person to have. Like there's a handful of people that they could bring in there. But I'm hoping that there's going to be enough to where they're going to have like just like a whole bunch of Cushing, and they're going to have like 10 or 11 people that you actually care about. Like, you know, Spider-Man will be there, and they'll say, okay, here's the backstory of Spider-Man covered over the course of like this one issue, and that is Spider-Man's origin. That's basically Spider-Man Zero issue number one, or whatever you want to call it.
I just had a thought the way that you described, like, oh, they're probably going to bring scientists, of someone like getting in this raft, and then Professor Xavier coming back from the dead, and they have to kick someone out, being like, "You're not smart enough. I'm sorry." Just...
The
know you
problem
get
with Marvel
out.
overall is, and I've been because I've been doing a lot of these origin videos. DC is super easy because they always retell the origin, regardless of whether or not you like the new origin they've given. That is the new origin. That is the current continuity origin. So the problem with Marvel is they don't do that. So like I'll sit there and I'll do an origin of the Green Lantern. It's like, here it is. You like the old one better? That's cool, but here's the current origin. But when it comes to Marvel, it's like, okay, so since it's not in one issue, we now have to go, here's what happened in 1960s, here's what happened in the 1970s. This part was condensed down because this is part of his origin. Hawkeye was the worst because he got his origin is the same origin, but like they just keep adding in moments as to what happened. And that's what happens with most of the superheroes in Marvel.
And they're doing it again, too, with Hawkeye's origin. They're retelling it again right now in the...
Yeah.
Yeah,
Jeff Lemire book.
and the problem is that instead of doing it like DC, where they're just like, look, here's the new origin. If you liked the old runs, they still exist, but it's not in the origin anymore. Marvel likes to go, everything has happened. Now you need to somehow put it all together. And then when new writers come in, they like to add stuff into that origin. A great example is Black Widow. They added in the whole thing with the Red Room and the Black Widow Project, and that you're supposed to go, okay, that peppers in to what's already here. And that's been the problem with Marvel since the dawn of whatever. That's like on my channel, we do the origins for DC. They're a lot more concise than we do with the Marvel, because with Marvel, it's 40 years, because technically everything that's happened is technically a part of the origin. So it's like,
It's hard to follow. It's very.
Yeah.
I mean, you have the Marvel Unlimited app, but other than that, you know, you can go back and read everything. It's like, thanks,
Well,
guys.
there's no guide. I mean, it'd be different if they had the Marvel Unlimited app and they said, okay, here's like Marvel Unlimited for Doctor Doom. Here's like a reading order for Doctor Doom. I mean, my video about Doctor Doom, I had to reference the Doctor Doom's first appearance that came 2 years after his original appearance in the Fantastic Four. I had to reference his origin story, which was given in Fantastic Four Annual number 2 or something like that. I had to cite the Doctor Doom and Doctor Strange Journey, which is a really good graphic novel, but I had to cite that. I had to cite a couple stories that were found scattered throughout Fantastic Four. I had to go through Ed Brubaker's run of the Books of Doom. There were like 5 or 6 different sources I had to go to just to do the origin story of Doctor Doom.
But like, it's not even
Hold
for
on,
that.
we need to diverge for 1 second here because the audience just noticed something, and I'm going to totally embarrass Faust with this. Faust, our banner, you misspelled weekly.
Oh, God.
Dude, I sit with
Why
both
would
of
you-
you.
Why would you? I'm dyslexic. Why would you reveal that it was me that made this?
Oh, I didn't know. Oh, now I feel bad. Why would you flip that guilt on me?
Me and Armin misspell crap on our own channel all the time, but we have no excuse. We're just really dumb.
Oh, now I feel bad.
Takes is one. All it ever takes is one
You know what
person.
it is.
Like somebody in the chat. Like I don't know.
Yeah, no one noticed it for the last hour. One person
Yeah.
brought it up. So
I don't know which one of you guys. There was one of you guys in the chat. One of you guys sat down there and you said, "Huh." Like that's Wilkie. Like, well, I should tell everybody.
Wilkie.
I should let everybody know that.
Oh
Hey,
man.
everybody, look at this.
Wilkie
We are
Pool's a
the,
better
welcome
show.
to the Wilkie pool.
The Wilkie pool.
We'll correct that, guys. In his defense, he did do it like because Joe wasn't going to be here, so he literally did it like 5 minutes before the podcast. He was trying to punch it up in a hurry. So the fact that Faust even did it was pretty amazing. But
You can blame it on me. I
Much better
ruined it.
one for 4 people. When we have a podcast with 4 people, you're going to see that one and go, "Wow, that looks like an overlay."
I want to know who it was. I want to know which one of you guys in the chat.
Who's the tattletale?
Who's the
Who-
tattletale?
who ratted out the way we spelled Wilkie?
Snitches get stitches on the internet.
Snitches get stitches.
Oh.
Oh,
So,
my God.
going back to what I was about to say,
What were we
it's
talking about?
it's Origins at Marvel. It's not like they even do it for just their main A-list characters. They've done it for fucking Pixie, because she originally started out as just a mutant at the Xavier Institute. Then, like 3 years later, on an off comment, they added in the fact that she was Welsh, and then she suddenly became. She was suddenly born in Wales as well as being Welsh, but from a mining town, and she was too scared of the mine, which is why she moved to America to go to the Xavier Institute. And then her father wasn't actually from Wales, and neither was her mother, and so she was Mastermind's daughter, and the Mastermind sisters were her half-sisters.
Oh.
Yeah.
They just keep adding stuff over the years,
Yeah.
and
Especially
it's to
X-Men.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
British, and then she's not British. I mean, that happens too.
Well,
Oh
the
God,
best.
Psylocke,
all
yeah,
these
she was British,
characters.
and then she switches bodies, and now she's Asian, and it's
The
like
best
Japanese or
example
something like
is-
that. It's-
I mean, it's just we had. There's a debate over who Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver's parents are. That's the entire
That's
debate.
actually-
Oh my God! Okay? I'm
Because they
sorry.
add shit
need to-
in.
I need to interrupt this for a second. That was the most ridiculous thing. I still haven't gotten over this. That is okay. To imitate Sal for a second. All right. I don't know who was thinking that. I don't know what they were thinking. Somebody had to say, like, we've got to find a way to make Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch the Inhumans. And so they're like, just do it.
Oh, but
Like,
they're
just have her
not
like
humans yet.
no. I mean, well, no. She like, okay. They're not the children. Okay, let me tell you something, man. They're not the children of Magneto. She
Yeah.
cast the spell. Magneto doesn't collapse, and so they're like, okay, like you're not our father, which was like the most ridiculous way to reveal that. I can guarantee you, they're going to say they're Inhumans. Like it's going to happen.
Oh,
I don't know if they're
everyone's
having
arguing
some
with
They're
secret
implying the
wars.
High Evolutionary had
I-
something to do with
I
their
know-
creation.
I mean, it makes sense. I mean, but I guess you could tie into it. If you did, it would be the. There's no. This is one of those decisions that Marvel makes. Like from time to time, Marvel comes along and says, "Let's make a decision," and what they do is they make a decision that they can't recover from. There's no way to recover from this. Like the accepted continuity for decades. 20, 30 years was that Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch were the kids of Magneto. That's fine if they want to change that. But one, the way they changed it was dumb. And two, they're going to change it into something dumber. They're going to say they're Inhumans because you've got them as Inhumans in the Marvel Cinematic Universe and say what you want to.
Well, hold on, because I got a lot of flack for calling them Inhumans in the movie.
They're enhanced.
Yeah, they're enhanced. Now, what I want to say to that real quick, everyone's like, oh, they're not humans, they're enhanced. For all we know, they are Inhumans, and the only reason that they survived the Scepter is because they're Inhumans.
That it awoke some sort of
Right,
genetic
Inhumans
thing
aren't
in
an
them.
accepted term in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Spoilers.
Oh, yeah, well,
It's not.
it's in
really
the first 10 minutes, Faust.
Yeah.
But some people haven't seen that first
all right.
10 minutes yet.
We'll go. We'll skip over this. We'll come back to that. But
okay, you know,
they're
you
Inhumans,
know-
people.
you-
They're Inhumans. God damn it, they're Inhumans.
You know how I know Inhumans are enhanced? You know how I know that? Because one, okay, see this is why like people see this is why it amazes me. People watched Age of Ultron and didn't like pay attention. No spoilers, we're not going to go into it. In the Agents of Shield, all Inhumans are referred to as enhanced people.
Yeah, that's
every
true.
Inhuman that's ever been captured or ever been chronicled, or I guess categorized or whatever it is, they refer to them as enhanced people. They refer
They
to
call
Sky.
Deathlock enhanced too, and he's clearly not an Inhuman.
Okay, he's not
just
an
a cyborg.
Inhuman, but he's got powers, and they refer to Sky as an enhanced person. They have like a litany of people that they consider to be enhanced people, and every single Inhuman that we know of is on that list.
It's a broad term.
It's not a broad term; it's a term for.
No, he's
Inhuman.
right. He's right because they refer to everyone. They're not even calling them Inhumans in the show right now. They're just like, oh, we're enhanced individuals.
Our
gifts have come out.
Okay,
You know.
when
They've already
Purple Man-
called them Inhumans.
When
I
they
feel
call
like
them
They
they
have
Inhumans.
many
twice
times.
though, not a lot in the
No,
show.
they called them Inhumans like at the closing of the last show.
They did.
They were like the Agents of Shield. Like Agents of Shield takes on the Inhumans.
Oh, I actually didn't see that
But
episode.
it's
Yeah,
like
the
the thing
Inhumans.
too-
Spoilers.
It comes on tonight.
Can't spoil Agents of Shield either.
They can't all be Inhumans though, because when Purple Man shows up in Jessica Jones' Alias, there, how are they going to explain his power? Are they going to say he's an Inhuman, or are they just going to say he's enhanced and happens to have the powers that he has?
I don't remember, how did Zebediah Killgrave get his powers?
Science.
Well, then just talk about science, man.
Science.
Just say GLaDOS gave him his powers. I don't.
So he's science-enhanced human. Scientifically enhanced human.
Okay.
Unless
be
And
sad.
which by the way, to like sidestep for a second, I can't wait for Purple Man.
Me too.
I
I'm
I'm
so excited.
Jessica Jones in general. I'm really excited for that show.
Yeah, I'm like Jessica Jones is going to be so
That's a
good. But
bold choice making that show the follow-up to Daredevil.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
is.
but-
I actually thought Iron
You
Fist
guys
would have been a
were
better follow-up, but that's.
you think
I mean-
so?
I think Iron
Honestly-
Fist would have been a good transitional piece because it's the same kind of thing as Daredevil, and we're kind of transitioning more into because Jessica Jones is less power oriented and more real life oriented.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. But I was
Like,
true.
cool though.
we'll get to see Luke Cage in that show, and then Luke Cage will get to spin off into his own
And
thing.
then Luke Cage could transition to Iron Fist. So I guess that's what they were thinking. But then they should have done Jessica Jones first.
Well, but
I
the
mean,
thing
it
kicker is
makes-
none
it
of them
makes
showed
sense,
up in
though.
Daredevil. Like nobody cameoed in Daredevil. So
But we got
But-
plenty of references, though.
Yeah, but like
I mean,
like
going back to Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, I would be interested if they made Scarlet Witch an Inhuman, but then like Quicksilver a mutant or something. To me, like that would be way more interesting than they're both just Inhumans or they're both mutants.
Well-
Because that would sort of play with that dynamic where they've always been sort of this shell that's together. And that would just kind of separate them off. That would give them their one unifying factor and just break it. And
yes, but hearken alas, you forget they have they basically sowed the seeds for Quicksilver being an Inhuman in a previous storyline. If you remember
Yes,
what
they
it
did.
is.
I do remember that.
didn't he
You
get like a
remember Son of M?
Paragenesis
Son of M
crystal and it
storyline?
unlocked like light speed time travel? And
Yes,
stuff?
yeah, they sowed the seeds and they said that like okay, he basically like developed enhanced abilities from what he already had, with the Terrigen crystals. Now, granted, he screwed everybody else up,
Yes, he did.
but like, but he didn't get screwed up. Like he
They
screwed up
followed up that
Callisto
story
really bad.
in X Factor. They followed up that story in X Factor, and I thought that was very well handled. When
So
he had
Flash-
I actually didn't see the follow up to it in X Factor.
It's good. You should read X Factor. Peter David. It was really good before it got canceled. It's
Huh.
good. He tied in the
That was
2099 universe before it ended.
That's weird.
It was good. Well, it's a good twist, actually. In the final issue, he's like, fine, then I won't get to do this twist. I'm just going to do it right now. Then this is what I was building up to, everybody.
What were you gonna say, Kat?
Something about X Factor. I don't remember. Looking back.
Oh, okay.
All right. Okay, so to keep our conversations moving, keep the podcast main topics rolling forward. We talked plenty about like all the Secret Wars theories and speculation, and I mean we don't have anything to work with. So how do you guys feel about the Divergence issue of DC? Pretty much stating convergence doesn't matter because the New 52 is going to fight Darkseid in the Darkseid War real soon.
Well, it's
I
happening
didn't
concurrently.
understand. I didn't
If you-
understand.
If you read Justice League 40, Metron
Exactly.
talks to the Anti-Monitor, and in their conversation, they say, we fear that because of the convergence, Brainiac may learn the secret of the DC universe, and that is that we are in a constant state of death and rebirth. The Darkseid War is happening concurrently to Convergence, so that's why the New 52 guys are probably not going to show up in Convergence at all.
Well,
But I think that's the weirdest thing about Convergence is I feel like Convergence is not necessary. They're just like Earth 2. Remember that the weekly series we have? We're just continuing that in Convergence. But what you actually have to read is Justice League, which I think is the weirdest thing because they did not promote that correctly.
Well,
Convergence got to be
honestly-
the big event, and the other one didn't.
I feel like Earth 2, I feel like Convergence, and they didn't promote this at all, but is like the closing chapter to the Earth 2 saga that has been like a total of like 80 freaking issues at this point. Like
Which is not even necessary at all. Honestly, at this point, I don't even want to get Earth 2 Society because I am so done with Earth 2 at this point.
God.
I
I'm not
was
gonna
great,
do her.
but they keep it going. Like, okay, because World's End led up into Convergence. Let me ask you guys this: everybody who read World's End, wasn't it like halfway through that we were? I don't. For me, at least, I was sitting there like, I know you're going to lose the planet. Stop fighting and just end this book.
I think after issue 5, I was just like, we know how this is going to end.
And we're
Life's
halfway.
been going. Why am I buying this series? Oh, you're right. I have to review it.
It's funny you should say that, Benny, because we're halfway through Convergence right now, and my thing is like, oh, so Earth 2 is going to win this fight, and Telos is going to make them a new planet, and that's where society is going to take place.
See, I don't even like.
Poor Faust.
First story,
I'm
Faust.
sorry. I'm sorry, Faust. Go ahead.
I mean, that was my issue.
I'm sorry
with-
for interrupting you, man. He's like, fuck you, Rob.
Well, he's got a knife. Careful.
I'm stabbing you.
No, that my issue with Earth 2 World's End is just kind of carried over into Convergence. It's just they've got like this much story and they're spreading it out this much, and it's
They really are. I mean, it's. I stopped caring about Convergence after week 2.
But I like
I
the
was
tie-ins.
like-
That's the
I was
thing.
like,
I-
okay.
Oh, yeah.
I don't like the main story, but the tie-ins are fun.
Tie-ins are great.
What I want to say about Convergence.
Okay,
But,
well,
like,
see,
at
maybe
the
it
same-
was just like week 3, but like the week 3 tie-ins didn't resonate with me at all. I was like, I don't care about any of these
Yeah,
tie-ins.
as
Like,
weeks go on,
It
it gets
depends
less
at
and less interest.
what era of
Yeah.
a DC fan you are. Like this week, this last one was the hardest one for me because it's like, hey guys, Infinity Inc. The sidekick.
Yeah.
from
You like that,
KSA.
right?
yeah, I was
Yeah,
like,
like we got one of the original creators back to write this book. I'm like,
yeah, that's exactly what it was. But
You
it
know
felt
what?
like it felt like trying to sell ketchup popsicles to a woman in white gloves. is what this week felt like. I mean, like don't get me wrong, there have been some great aspects, some great tie-ins. I
yeah.
loved like the pre-Flashpoint Superman story.
wonderful.
Yes.
It was like pre-Flashpoint Superman versus Flashpoint, like the whole Flashpoint group. That was cool, and I was like, I can't wait to get to issue number 2 of this. You know, the one with Wally West was that was kind of cool, but that Superman one really tied in with me.
Dibbies came back in Justice League of America. That was a pretty good moment.
Which
Oh
one?
yeah, that Sue. Oh my god, that tugged on the heartstring.
For
One I
just-
wished was better though was Batgirl. I thought
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
the viewers
the
are
one
filling
with-
us
you
in
talking
that
about the one with
apparently
Nightwing? The one where she,
view-
that. No, Stephanie. The Stephanie.
Oh,
the
yeah.
viewers are
Stephanie
filling us in that apparently issue 7 of Convergence is the official one where the New 52 guys join the fight. So what
Oh,
that
yeah.
says to me is
Oh.
what's going to happen is Earth 2 is going to fail, and then we need the real heroes to
They
show
gotta
up.
get bailed out.
yeah. Okay, so here's my question. If Divergence is going to revolve around the Dark Side Wars, does this mean Divergence is going to turn into like a crisis? And they're going to like say,
Well-
okay, from this point going forward, there's only just like arbitrary stories and no realities.
They keep
Yes and
saying
no.
it
I mean,
can't
that's
be.
what they're saying. They're trying to avoid. They're saying if it happens again, everything will end. They have to avoid another crisis.
Which feels like meta commentary from Jeff Johns. Like, our universe literally can't take another crisis, guys.
That's exactly what I mean. See, I hate things like that because it sounds like a sales pitch. It sounds like, oh my god, we've got all this inventory. We got to sell. You know, and it's like, come buy these cars for like $3,000 off. It's what it feels like. You know, it's how it comes across. And if DC wants to do a crisis, just come out and say, okay, hey guys, yes, Convergence was a filler, Divergence will lead into a crisis, and we're going to reset everything all over again. Except now, the New 52 is going to be one of a litany of realities that we're going to have. Now we're going to have Silver Age Superman stories, and we're going to have, you know, like Flashpoint, you know, Green Lantern stories, and
Which
we're
is
going to have,
perfect.
you know,
I like that. I
yeah,
like
that's fantastic because now
Yeah.
you have something for everybody rather than like trying to force this one size fits all category on fans. You got fans that grew up with Wally West, they can go by Wally West. You got fans that grew up with Kyle Rayner, they can go by Kyle Rayner. You got fans that grew up with Silver Age Superman, they can go do the same thing. And I think that, you know, diversifying their bonds. So to
I
speak.
want to say Convergence
But
is
that's
more of a
what it-
case test then. Sorry,
Yeah.
Beth.
But that will go back to what they were doing back in the Silver Age, because back in the Silver Age they had multiple realities. They pretty much did creativity over continuity, and every year they had a yearly Crisis event that was like Crisis on Earth 1, Crisis on Earth 2, where all like the realities came together to defeat some kind of evil. Even one year it was the massive evil was Earth 3. So is going back to what they were doing back in the Silver Age.
Why,
No, but
why is
circular.
Earth 3 always the enemy? Like, Earth 3 is always like, this is where all the
It's always-
bad
it's-
versions are.
It's the Alabama of all the Earths, man. It's the backwards. It's the backwards Earth.
Just that number 3, it's a really
that number-
shady number. It's got sunglasses on, it's smoking.
Yeah, nobody likes it. Like,
I'm
it
the
looks-
number
it looks
3,
adorable.
man. Why don't you come to my back alley with me? I got some candy.
Yeah, yeah. Earth 3
Three
has,
is
like,
the number
plastic
that cuts
windows.
itself and doesn't do its homework.
But no, like the problem that they had, the problem that DC had going into the Crisis on Infinite Earths is they had no organization. They were just like, Flash of Two Earths, wow, we can do multiversal stories. It's like you write a multiversal story and you write a universe and you get a universe and everybody just write universes
Oprah's back.
and whatever happens.
Yeah,
Oprah's back.
Yeah,
And
why
she's
is
like,
Oprah
everybody
back?
just write universes and you know, if it all pops off, then we'll just do a Crisis and we'll just consolidate everything. That was a problem that they had, is nothing was organized. If they go into it now and they say, okay, look, Crisis, all these different continuities, but it's going to be organized. Like, we're only going to have like 15 different continuities or something like that, then it would make sense. The problem that I think DC would have is if they walked across that line, and if, like Kat said, that Convergence is like a test bed. They're saying, okay, like we have all these different, like we have every generation of DC Comics basically being presented here. Which ones are the most popular? And we'll do stories based on that. Inevitably, there's going to be that group of people that say, hey, like I want Captain Carrot. Like, give us Captain Carrot.
I don't think anybody is asking for Captain
Oh,
Carrot.
somebody,
Grant
somebody
Morrison
Buys
somewhere.
that comic.
Somebody
I want the
somewhere
Zoo
wants
Crew.
Speaking of things that people are asking for, and because I haven't mentioned it in this podcast yet, and I have to mention it at least once in every podcast, New Teen Titans sold really well and it sold out in pretty much every comic store I've asked out in the UK. Okay, go on.
Really.
Yeah, New
Nobody
Teen
cares
Titans?
still, Faust. I'm sorry.
Teen. They will bring back the New Teen Titans, and they will force Marv Wolfman to write it.
I hope so. Both the Teen Titans books were really good. Both, the new Teen Titans and the other one was.
I
They're
still
just
see a second
Titans.
generation Teen Titans. Like, where's Cassie? Where's Tim? I was like, I kind of want them too, but
I want them, but that you can only really put Jeff Johns on them,
oh yeah, I agree.
unless you call them Young Justice, and do like the proper
Which
Young
they
Justice.
Oh, and then we
That
can
would
have a TV
honestly
show
probably
that gets
sell
canceled
better,
midway in
too,
the
if
story.
you do Young Justice.
I can
Do what
understand.
now? Like there was a convergence of voices. I couldn't understand who was saying what.
I think we're all
Outdoors.
I think Young Justice would sell better because of the whole TV show. People would want it, and then you have the new Teen Titans. You got Young Justice, and everyone's happy.
But then at the same time, the Young Justice comics was so different from the cartoon.
They were, but it's still a
I-
fun book. That was I enjoyed those books.
I prefer the comic to the cartoon. I have things to say about the cartoon that people that
Oh,
watch me know about.
Oh.
I
love
have
it.
bad things to say.
Me,
Bad
Faust. Ooh, Faust, you picked the wrong group with me and Kat here. You hold them, I'll hit them.
I have
All right, guys. Let's
I
start.
want to see that. Hold on. I want to see that at New York Comic Con. I want we have to get that on like an iPhone. Like I want to
What,
see
Joel and Kat beating on Faust?
Yeah, Joel and Kat just like beating up Fast.
What was that you said about the
No,
Church of
Faust,
Greg
I'll
Wiseman?
protect you. Don't worry. Yeah, I got your back, buddy.
Then he's got
didn't
your
know-
back.
You didn't know he was with two Greg Wiseman cultists over here.
yeah, seriously. New York
I'll be recording the whole thing with my iPhone.
All right, guys. So we're kind of winding down the actual podcast. So we're going to start doing our exit remarks. Please stick around the stream. We will be hanging around afterwards when the podcast officially ends. If you're watching this post on Rob's channel, make sure you come check out our Twitch, twitch.tv/eligible monster. I know the name makes no sense, but that's where it is. Twitch.tv/eligible monster. That's where you can be live with the chat and see the post show and the pre-show. So let's kind of close down here. Please, chat, don't leave. We're going to be hanging around a little bit longer afterwards, where you can see Joel and Kat beating up Faust, and Faust crying for his mommy. It's going to be funny.
Until he says he likes a cartoon better, but then
Exactly, yeah.
We take cartoons very seriously around here, don't you know?
So, as usual, at the end of every episode, we always kind of go over what we're planning for our channels. For me, I'm just doing World War Hulk at the end of this week, and I don't even know what we're doing next week. But, DC again, because we've done Marvel for like 3 weeks now, so I'll be doing DC again next week.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Like I want to do a history, like something about the Lantern Corps. Or I might just do Night of the Owls, Death of the Family, and then jump into Endgame. So
Okay, and that's what's going on Comics Explained. He's kind of like me. We're both just kind of like, we're going to do videos.
something. Will
So
be
why don't
coming.
we start? We'll go from Faust and then Joel, and then we'll end with Comic Uno, so you get the most time to plug your channel, Kat. And Faust, what do you got going on this week over at It's Super Effective?
This week we have some highlights from Grant Morrison's career. Very excited about that because Grant Morrison is my favorite writer. Then we've got a history of Young Avengers, looking at a very specific story arc. And other than that, I have no idea.
Stuff is happening.
All right, Joel, what's going on with the Comic Book Cast 40-man team?
Well, you know, this week we probably did more like live action videos, like the stuff we're doing now, than we ever have before. I covered the Ultron Initiative because, you know, hey, Ultron wanted to get in on that. That's the story where Ultron turns Tony Stark into a woman and steals his body.
Oh my God.
That's one. And Frank
You're
shows
covering
artwork.
that?
I did. You can watch that video right now.
I'll go watch it as soon as we're done. I want to see.
I have actually not
that.
read that one, and it always kind of baffled me. How come I get taking over Tony Stark's body? I get all of that stuff. Why did it turn? I mean, I get he wants him to look like Janet, but that should not have just been. Oh, I want you to be a woman. Now you're a woman.
You materialize Tony Stark into a woman.
They never-
I will watch your coverage on that.
They never explain it, but it's Frank Cho's artwork, and his artwork is ass-tastic.
Yes.
Is what it is. Also, you can watch a free comic book day video I did. I went 2 towns over to my nearest comic shop, and I talked to the owners, and I did some stuff there, and I picked up some books, and that was fun. We have our own Age of Ultron discussion that just went up today. We talked about that and broke that down. Just a bunch of different reviews and stuff. All sorts of
The
stuff
audience
going.
is pretty much breaking this down for you, Joel. They're saying next week 100 videos from Comic Book Cast.
We could do it, man. We could. No, we're trying to pull back. We're trying to do good. But yeah, we did that, of course, podcasts every week. We're going to be jumping into Secret Wars. Be sure to come by the channel on Wednesday. Armin and I are probably going to rush that one out right away to cover the first issue.
I am so excited. I mean, they said the issue number 2 is going to be huge. It's going to be like a tour of all the worlds.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's going to be nuts.
I'm down.
And our moderator, Goldman Vision, if you could actually link their channels, then that'd be great. I know it might take you a minute, but and let's go ahead and end with Comic Uno. Why don't you explain what you do on your channel, who you are, because it's the first time you've been on the weekly poll, even though you've been contributing articles for quite a while to the website now. Why don't you just kind of explain yourself in full? Let's get the cat.
Awesome. I am the cat. So my channel, I cover comic book stuff, so I usually do a good amount of in-depth reviews, and also TV shows. So I cover Arrow, Flash. Flash should be up right after this. Other TV shows too, so you go check that out. Also, I have a group channel called Comic Frontline, which we're doing a live show at 9:30, so that's going to be our comic book podcast then. Also, I have a TV movie podcast over there too, which is Media Madness, which Joel's been on a couple of times, and that's usually 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to be talking Avengers that Thursday for that on Comic Frontline. Also, just put an interview up with Sterling Gates about Post-Human Project, so that was a lot of fun. Also, I have my own comic book, Like Father, Like Daughter, so if you guys want to go check that out. We're still figuring out how we're going to put it out digitally and all that, so it might be a couple more weeks for that, but you can go check it out, and on my Twitter and Facebook, Comic Uno, you can go check all those stuff out. So comic books and TV stuff, that's what I do.
Awesome. All right, guys. Thank you for joining us for today's podcast. Make sure you come back at the same time tomorrow, where we're going to have our spoiler cast of the weekly polls, just discussions of Age of Ultron. We're going to get as many comic book YouTubers as we can on here. Faust will have a heart attack when I'm like, Faust, I need a thing with 9 panels. Exactly. Don't forget to stick around. We're only going to be ending the official podcast that's going up on Rob's channel. So if we're going to do a quick commercial break after this, and then we'll all be here to answer a few questions, chit chat, and have a little bit of fun. We just all need to get a little drink, and I need to use the restroom. So thank you guys for joining us. Stick around till after the commercial break, and we will be back shortly.
I got to use a little boy wrangler term.
I do.
I gotta answer my phone. I got freaking creditors calling me who I've been dodging.
Okay, I'm still live, so don't tell them that you're dodging yet. Hold on, we haven't gone on everything yet.
Oh no, they're watching. Did I say
All right, guys.
dodging?
Thank you so much. We'll be back in 2 minutes just to chit chat with all of you.